Hey everybody, Andrew Kiaroscuro here. I'm an award-winning filmmaker that makes cinematic actor demo reel scenes to help actors book bigger speaking roles. So today we're going to be talking about AI and answering the question of, does AI present more opportunities for real actors or less opportunities? And so my answer is yes. So what I do helps out with the casting process. All of the actor demo reel scenes are live action capture, but I've been posting up some ads and there's been some concerns about AI. And so I want to answer and kind of educate people. I've been doing this for 20 years. And so I know some actors, aspiring actors that are kind of coming into the business, they're a little hesitant about AI. And so I'm going to answer some of these questions. And so we're going to walk down memory lane. We're going to talk about technology, and then we're going to end up answering that question of, are there more opportunities or less opportunities, and what can an actor do with this technology? So I hope you'll stick around and you'll watch the whole video. It will be a little bit long, but I promise you're going to learn a lot. So let's start out. So in the beginning of time, AKA entertainment, right? We started with the theater, right? Everyone knows what theater is, and we still have it today, right? Look at that. Broadway, people going to plays. Even though we have film and all this other stuff, people are still going here. So this is really important to remember, guys. Next, we came out with film. Here, let me get rid of this. We came out with film. Whoop. Let's see if I can write. Right? Then after that, it became digital. And during these periods, each one of these periods, these transitions from theater to film to digital, there was fear and there was concerns like, oh no, now we can create fictional stories with film. We can go to different locations and film something. Are people going to go to the theater anymore and want to, sit in a room and watch people stuck in one area? We all know the answer to that question. Yes. Okay. And then when film went to digital, there were more concerns and fears like, oh, digital makes it too easy, right? Film, it's organic, it's raw. There's a certain beauty to it. If you're not shooting on film, you're not a filmmaker, right? How many Oscar, Academy Award, really talented filmmakers do we see shoot on digital, right? It's efficient, right? It's more efficient than having to wait for your film to process, right? And so now we're moving into this area of AI, right? But AI is the internet, right? AI is online, right? It's being done online. But before, and we got to break this down, before AI, there's been a transition in visual effects. And that's what I loop AI in. It's visual effects for TV and film, but we're going to break it down. So in the beginning, there were practical effects, right? And I'm going to use the example of Star Wars, right? So we saw it in the original trilogy, practical effects, animatronics. So I'm just going to put robots. Then we have, explosions. So like squibs or pyrotechnic, right? So that's practical, right? That's the original trilogy of Star Wars. Then we went into CGI, which we saw in the prequels, which is computer-generated images. And within this platform, there were certain programs that were created. After Effects. Okay, I'm just going to put a few of these. Then there was Cinema 4D, which is like a higher-end After Effects. These kind of do motion graphics. Then there was Maya. Then there was Houdini. Then there was Nuke. Each one of these had their own function and kind of what they specialized in, right? So After Effects, it's kind of like a base visual effects software. Then there's Cinema 4D, 3D modeling. Maya, Houdini, really good at creating 3D models, but for characters and textures and environments. Nuke is a depth mapping software that blends digital assets to real world assets. Now we're in the era of AI. We're back again. AI does all of this stuff much more efficiently, faster, right? It can do it all. And AI can be done with text, image, video, right? And so these are the text is driven by text, telling it what to do. This is what I want you to create. and then image and video are the reference material. Okay. So I implore everyone to kind of learn about it because there's a lot of cool stuff with it. So now we're going to talk about, so now that we've seen the transition of technology, where does that leave real actors? Does that leave us with less opportunities or more opportunities? And let's talk about it. Okay. So the first thing that's happening right now is there was an article that came out a few weeks ago. CAA is creating an online bank of all of its talent. We're bringing them in 360 photos to copyright their likeness and images, right? Obviously, that's necessary, right? We want to make sure that creators, filmmakers going out there aren't using your likeness and portraying your likeness in a bad light, but also profiting off of your likeness. So, kind of goes without saying, that's smart, right? But what is cool about that, right, is there was a recent example, a Patrick Swayze movie that I think is coming out or soon to be coming out. Same thing with another Fast and Furious. They're bringing back Paul Walker. We saw that in the last film. They did it with what? CGI. But this new one, they're going to be doing it with AI. Again, next step. And so as a real actor, there's a couple benefits to AI. What can AI help us with now? Now, we can live forever. We can be brought back, and our families can profit and benefit off of all the hard work that we put into this life, right? Number 2, autonomy. Now, as an actor, you can go on Mid-Journey and create different characters that you think are really cool. So say you wanted to do a medieval story, but you don't have the budget, you're a very passionate storyteller and performer, and you love Game of Thrones, and now you have the ability, you can go on Mid-Journey, create different characters, their image references, and then you can film yourself, which is motion capture, and translate your performance onto all of those different characters that you've created, right? Pretty cool. All right. The next thing is animations. And again, that can happen through either motion capture, and I'm going to put mocap for short, or that can happen through your voice, right? So the biggest example of this, and it's happening a lot, Avatar, right? Everyone's seen all the dots all over their face. That's motion capture, right? So now AI is doing the same thing. It looks at how you're performing, how you're moving, how you're speaking, and it translates it onto a digital character. Same thing can happen for your voice. You can perform it, right? And then the last thing I want to talk about is the future. There are certain things that AI is going to allow us to do that live action filming just can't, right? And so I'm talking about VR, right? And this is something a lot of people are not talking about, but I think the future of some entertainment, again, we have theater, we have traditional, TV series, film, where you're looking at a screen. Then we're going to have VR, a whole nother category that's going to be opened up by AI. Why? Because in VR, you can't have, if someone's going to be looking around, they can't be seeing lights and cameras and all that stuff. But now, with the ability of AI being able to capture your performance and take your voice and your movement into, let's say, Star Wars, and now I can just have you come in a studio and perform, taking 360 images of, say, Ewan McGregor coming in to play Obi-Wan, and now we can create a VR Star Wars, right? So to answer the question, there's a lot of really great opportunities for actors through the creation of AI. AI is not going to replace real actors any more than film replaced theater. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I just really wanted to explain the journey of technology and explain all the possibilities that AI really creates. Once again, my name is Andrew Kiaroscuro. I'm an award-winning filmmaker that makes cinematic actor demo reel scenes to help actors book bigger speaking roles. So the service that I offer really helps out with the casting process. casting directors, producers, obviously they want to see the real actor performing. They don't want to see an AI clone. That being said, as an actor, you know, I'm a big advocate of storytelling, and I wanted to educate people of the possibilities from a mainstream, a production standpoint, and then also what you can do on your own. So I hope you guys found this video helpful and educational, and hopefully it alleviates some of those fears and concerns. If you're interested in getting higher quality footage, I'd love to help you out. I hope you have a great day.